Hi, and welcome to this special edition of COSA TV. I'm Greg Blanchard. Glad to be joined today by Mark Horner. He is a director with the Central Ontario Standardbred Association, past chair of Standardbred Canada, committee member of Ontario Racing, and of course operates a medium-sized stable here in the province of Ontario. Mark, thank you for joining us. We wanted to try and give horse people here in the province of Ontario a bit of an idea of some of the options that are available to them personally in terms of financial relief. I know you're busy working behind the scenes with Ontario Racing, trying to come up with some more funding for the industry at large. But in the meantime, individuals can certainly explore the options that are available to them. And we want to take a look at some of them in a moment. First of all, though, Mark, from someone's perspective like yours, who wears different hats, who operates a mid-sized stable here in the province, what's the impact been for your business so far?
Well, obviously, Greg, first off, thanks for doing this and having me on. So personally, on the personal side, is business as usual so far. I guess like a lot of other trainers waiting for word on what to do with their animals. But so my 3-year-olds we're ready to qualify. We're training, jogging, training them, light work right now. 2-year-olds have virtually been unaffected to this point. We're just going through the regular routine, obviously practicing self-distancing and doing our best to stay away from each other in the barn and in the workplace where we can, and following all the protocols put in place by by our health officials and government. So just trying to stay safe and keep our horses worked up and ready to go when we get the call to go.
And one thing about it, these horses, they still have to be fed, they have to be cared for, and they have to be kept in training for when racing does resume. But there's definitely been an economic impact to the industry, as there has been across the entire economic spectrum, and racing is no different. But we thought it was important to come on as someone that can speak to it from a few different perspectives, but certainly as a horseman yourself, some of the options that are out there for people. And we just want to, again, walk through them to make sure everyone is aware of some of the financial relief that is available, and kind of guide you through that somewhat. So we'll bring those up now and walk through them. And probably the most important one, I think, in terms of the racing industry, Mark, and I think you would agree, is the Canada Emergency Response Benefit.
Absolutely, Greg. We feel that this is the most important for our horse people to reach out and take advantage of: grooms, trainers, drivers. You're not working right now. This is here for you. It's $500 a week. Real easy to do. A 3-step process, and most of us will qualify for this benefit, and it's there for you to take advantage of.
And from what we are hearing for people who have applied so far, as you said, very easy to do, just a couple of questions. And what we're hearing as well is that the turnaround time has been fantastic. People getting money into their bank accounts within 2 or 3 days of applying. So that is fantastic news. And definitely check that out at the Canada.ca website. We'll provide all of that website information as well here at the end. In terms of the businesses and employers, Mark, they can look into the federal wage subsidy.
That's correct, Greg. The federal wage subsidy, as it sits today, it's 75%. They'll pay up to on your weekly wage limit, and 25% of that would be topped up by each business. What was announced yesterday, which helps, is a 15% drop in revenue to access the wage subsidy. So if your business has been affected, is up to 15%. It would include part of March, I believe. And if you qualify for this, it's definitely worth looking into. All the information is at your fingertips, and look into that one as well.
And that is also on the Canada.ca website. Mark, these are the two major federal programs that are available. But what else can you do as a horseman on a personal level to try and find some ways to save?
So, we can go into our banks. Anybody that's got a mortgage, you can get a 6 month defer on your payments for most private mortgages, and also on business mortgages, and example farms, uh, up to 3 months relief, and also any of your loans or auto loans per se would defer to, as we know, up to 3 months on them as well, Greg.
And you can do this with your credit cards as well. I know some of the credit card companies are slashing rates and offering to defer payments as well, reminding you that these are not foregoing of payments, but deferrals of payments. So they'll be added on to the end of your term, but nonetheless can free up some cash for you in the short term. I think important too, when you call your credit card company, ask about credit card insurance. A lot of people, when they sign up for credit cards, maybe forget that they signed up for this particular option. So it's worth contacting them and trying to find out if indeed you do have that, because that could help out as well. With
Very,
the certain consider, sorry, go ahead.
very important on the credit card relief is they've advertised uh, to cut your interest rates in half, and also it's up to you to call. So make sure you make the effort and make the call.
That's true. And at this point in time, little to no revenue coming in for stables. So there are some potential options here as well for short-term loan packages.
Yeah, as far as what we've learned, I know personally through FCC, historically they've loaned on equipment or land purchases, an example, or farms and so forth. So they've added operational loans to their packages. So that's also a good interest rate and a good loan package for businesses that could look into loans through FCC.
And a reminder, we will provide this website information at the end of this segment as well. And finally, Mark, tell us what you know about the Small Business Relief Program.
So that Greg also is through CRA, and it's $40,000 loan with $10,000 forgiven, 0% interest rate. So if you can take advantage of this one too, it's really worth looking into as well. And it will be tied to your CRA files. So also it's driven by your payroll. So if you qualify for this one, it's a good deal. It's 0% interest if it's paid back by 2022.
Well, thank you, Mark, for walking through that with us. And I know you yourself have accessed some of these relief options. So it's great to get your perspective on that. And again, we will post that website information coming up in a moment as well. I know there's a lot of information for people to try and absorb out there. So we just kind of wanted to help walk you through it a little bit. And you can contact the COSA offices as well if you need a little more help in terms of understanding these programs that are available, and maybe a little bit of help in walking through and getting the process started. Mark, in terms of funding though for the industry, there was some short-term funding announced about a week and a half ago with talk of something more substantial. Can you give us an update on that?
Sure, Greg. Through Ontario Racing is just we should have all received our checks now from the cancellated dates that were drawn. So that was a short-term relief. I know there's been proposals put in for medium relief, and there'll be ongoing discussion on long-term relief. Where that's at right now is in the government's hands, and as you can imagine, there's a lot of back and forth to make sure we get it right. And Ontario Race is working hard on that front to deliver and get something out to us, hopefully from the government sooner than later.
And we'll certainly keep folks updated whenever there is information to pass along in that regard. And in terms of a date to return to racing potentially, I mean, that's the one question no one can answer definitively, but I know discussions are happening as well at the OR level in terms of trying to look toward a potential return date?
Sure, and if you can appreciate it, I think we all know what's up in the air, and it's going to be driven by the government response and our healthcare professionals to tell us when we get the go ahead. But there are discussions going to be going on in the next week or so, and to bring more clarity to a timeline, positively short term, not likely, who anyone's guess at this point, but I want people to know that is going to be part of the discussion here in the next not weeks but days ahead, and we'll try to bring some clarity to that shortly.
Well, Mark, thank you for taking a few minutes to join us today and talk about this. And good luck with everything and stay safe. We'll give you a look now
We're
at
all
the website information that is available to you. Of course, visit the Government of Canada, the Ontario Federation of Agriculture and Farm Credit Canada. There are the websites for both of those organizations. Of course, Standard Canada has done a wonderful job of compiling all of the pertinent information that would apply to horse people in the province, and of course, COSA online as well. And again, if you have any further questions or want a little bit more clarification, please give them a call at the COSA offices. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time on COSA TV.